Welcome, I'm Justin Rempel. Today we're going to be talking all about rubrics, what they are, what information they can tell us, and how we can use them as a helpful tool for our learning. So we have to start with the basics, the definitions. What is a rubric? Well, a rubric is a chart, and it is also a checklist of sorts. It is one of the ways that teachers assess or mark student learning. And so it's very helpful for both teachers and students to know how they work and how to use them well so that they understand what they're trying to learn and whether or not they've actually learned it. A rubric should list all the criteria for the assignment. The criteria are the things that need to be done or the skills that need to be demonstrated so that we know if we've learned properly the things that we're supposed to. A rubric also tells us how to meet each criterion well. So not just what we're trying to do, but how to do it well. So it's basically a breakdown of how you're going to get your grade. I've got a sample rubric here, and this is a very basic general rubric for an ELA assignment, English Language Arts. And you can see that it's a very straightforward chart, but it's helpful to know how to understand and break down this chart. So on the left-hand side, you have a list in bold of the different criteria. In this case, it's kind of general skills that the student is supposed to demonstrate in their assignment. They're supposed to demonstrate a focus on good content and meaning. They're supposed to analyze and interpret their topic. They're supposed to develop that topic into more nuanced ideas, and they're supposed to demonstrate good mastery of language and conventions, which means things like spelling or grammar. These are pretty general skills. Some assignments will have very specific criteria. For example, you might be working on a slideshow and it needs to be 20 slides long. So one of the criteria might be length. Did you make a presentation that had enough breadth and size to it? At the top of our rubric, we've got how you might achieve different grades. And this can be communicated in a few different ways. Sometimes there's just numbers. Often it's 1, 2, 3, 4 on a scale of 1 to 4. Sometimes it is a descriptive word like poor, acceptable, good, excellent, kind of gives you a scale or a sense of how well you're doing. Sometimes it's a percentage grade or a range of grades or numbers. So 50 or below being the lowest, 51 to 70, 71 to 85, 86 to 100%. It kind of gives you an idea of these different categories that you might fall into depending on how well you demonstrate each skill. Okay, but a rubric gives us a lot more richer information than that. It also gives us a very detailed breakdown, a description of each category. So for example, if I look at the criterion content and meaning, if I look all the way on the right-hand side, which is the lowest side, it's marked with the number 1. It's described as poor. I can see a very good description of what poor content and meaning would look like. Lacks a clear focus on the assigned topic, does not address the task. Okay, so if that's my assignment, if it lacks a clear focus, if it does not address the task that I'm given, I'm going to end up with a 1 in content or meaning. If, on the other hand, I do what it says in the box all the way over on the other side for number 4, demonstrates a clear focus on the assigned task and topic, addresses all parts of the task, well, then I'm going to end up in the very highest range of grades possible for content and meaning. So a rubric gives you a really good breakdown of how you got your grade. It shows you exactly how well or how poorly you did in each of the different criteria areas. So how would I use a rubric? Well, it's a good idea to check with your teacher if you have a rubric for the assignment. Many teachers work with rubrics and assess that way. Not all do, but often you'll be able to get one. And a rubric is useful at the very start of your assignment because you can use it as a checklist to make sure that you know everything that you're supposed to do in the assignment. It's a good idea to check in with the rubric throughout the assignment as you're working to make sure that you're on the right track. It's a great idea to check one last time before you hand in your assignment. Look at the rubric, see if you did everything that's on the rubric and if you did it well to the best of your abilities. And of course, afterwards, once you get your marks and feedback, if you have any questions about the teacher's assessment, you can always ask them using the rubric. It's a very helpful tool to discuss why you got the grade that you did. You can always question why you got a grade in a very specific criteria area.